find most satisfying about doing the work around there?
I think probably I'm really passionate about gardening. So having the time to grow food properly, I guess,
Yes.
at home with the kids and stuff, it's a bit harder.
Yeah.
Because I don't have much time. So
Yeah.
I like that. But just generally the place itself, like having every day it's different. I mean, it's crazy, but every day it's different. You'll have someone pop in or a school group pop in or something happen because we're so, I suppose, out there and flexible, I guess, with what we're doing. I guess fluent.
I love watching the impact that it has on the community, watching kids' faces when they come in there. That's just a revelation, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And do you know, if you have a job where you feel like you're having that sort of impact, it's worth its weight in gold, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good fun.
So tell me about this thing that you've got coming up.
Basically, last year I went to the Urban Agriculture Conference in Sydney, and I got inspired and thought, why don't I try and do something like that in Wagga? I originally approached Sustain, which is the organisation that ran that one in Sydney, and they started to help me do something, but then stepped away a bit. So once that happened, I thought, well, I still want this to happen, but I always had a dream of a harvest festival. So originally it was going to be just a conference, but when I used to work at Mate's Gully Cafe. I used to work on their farm and in their kitchen, so I'm a qualified chef as well. And I used to dream about a harvest festival there, but just never had the opportunity. So my mind went, okay, let's turn this into a harvest festival as well, but I can't do it by myself. So I approached the other community gardens around, so Pro Patria, the demonstration gardens, told them about the idea, and they were fully into it straight away. So we started to plan some things, and then realised that we'd never done this before, and we weren't legal. Like we weren't a group that has,
you didn't have that entity.
Yeah, we weren't an entity yet. Yeah, so I thought, what can I do? Who can I approach? And I first approached Ed Marr from Wagga Urban Land Care, and he said, we probably can't help you, but my wife works for Murrumbidgee Land Care. And I had a chat with her, and she said, well, let me speak to some people. And after that, they were on board as well. So they're all supporting our organisation and are helping us.
That's brilliant.
Run it. Yeah.
Do you know the beauty about this is you've already said it was a bit overwhelming where you thought, what have I taken on?
I still think that.
But now you've got these people who they've got runs on the board. They've done this stuff before.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not world weary and bored, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what's it going to look like?
So next year, we're just about to start. We're starting advertising, I guess. Me speaking to you is at the start of that. We're about to start selling tickets and advertising full on. But next year, 1st and 2nd of March, and we chose that time because that's when summer produce is really prevalent and it's out of summer, so it's not as hot. So the first day is a conference day. It's going to be at the Wagga Chambers. I think I've got 5 or 6 speakers, including Naomi Lacey, who's the head of Community Gardens Australia, and Dr. John Rafferty, who is out at Thurgoona campus, runs a community garden out there at CSU. I'm not going to name it yet, but I think I do have a big name coming as well as our main speaker, but the rest are going to be local. Then we have a dinner at Mate's Gully at the end of that, so that'll be a ticketed event. Start at like 1 o'clock and finish about 8 o'clock or so in the evening. The second day is a festival day, and we're still tossing up the exact venue, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Wagga Beach Precinct. The council's pretty keen for us to get involved there. So it's going to be a day of music, workshops, food, and the food is all going to be, and we're still lining this up, getting the producers speaking to the storeholders and having most of the food supplied by local producers and growers and organisations and companies and that kind of stuff.
And when you look around, I mean, you look at things like the farmers' markets here in Wagga. You're spoiled for choice.
Exactly.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg of the extraordinary food that's around.
Exactly. So I approached the markets about a month ago, and I think 10 stallholders from there are going to be there on the day. So we'll also have market stalls. And they're really keen, obviously, to get this thing going. If we can make this really popular and it works really well, fingers crossed, then maybe it could be a seasonal thing. Maybe it could be a yearly thing. We are a food bowl of Australia.
Absolutely.
And we don't always have the access to it. It gets on trucks and goes down to Melbourne or Sydney and then goes around.
And you know the secret to this? I don't reckon we celebrate it enough.
I agree.
Everybody else acknowledges it. We all sort of know peripherally, oh yeah, we grow all this food. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. But we don't make a big song and dance about it, do we?
No,
I think we need to.
And that's what this is about celebration of that and letting people know where, not only growers, but also community gardens too. So if you can't grow food in your backyard, I've approached 2 community gardens plus our one, but there's another 3 or 4 that are in town that I work with, and some are small, some are larger. They all have different ways of doing things, but they all have a garden and grow food and encourage people to come and be involved. So I'm also trying to connect people with what is here in your community that you can visit on a Saturday or during the week and grow some vegetables or just, hang out and meet some like-minded people.
Exactly. And not only this, but you think about the number of schools that have gardens on their campus as well.
Exactly.
And we're training kids that the food you get, the really good stuff, is not from a supermarket.
Yeah.
The best food comes... the stuff you can grow yourself.
Totally. Yeah, you can grow it yourself. It's always, when we have at ErinEarth, when we have kids come through and I pick them a carrot and they bite it and they say, this tastes strange. Yeah. I said, what do you mean it tastes strange? It tastes really nice and sweet and stuff. And I said, well, that's how it's supposed to taste because you've just picked it. Hasn't been on a truck and gone to Melbourne, a storage facility, and been in cool freeze for a month. And growing your own food as well is really sustainable. So,
exactly.
Learning about soils, learning about bugs and things and making compost and, how to do that kind of stuff. And also getting your hands in the soil can be therapeutic. It's been proven all over the world that there are organisations that are running things to help people with PTSD and depression and stuff and getting them out in the garden, in the sun, with their hands in the soil. It's therapeutic.
The other thing too, though, is I reckon if you teach a kid that they can grow their own food, you're teaching them self-reliance. Yeah. You're teaching them that you can be responsible for stuff yourself. Yeah. And if you don't see it in front of you, well, maybe you could be growing it. Yeah. Or you could be making it. Yep. Or you could be, if there's no group doing this, well, I could form a group. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many spots in Wagga that could become a community garden if people just had the will and I suppose, just kept on trying. It could happen.
And also if they knew who to go and ask about the best way to do it.
Yep.
Because I am no gardener, but I tell you what, I'm smart enough to talk to people who are good gardeners.
Yep.
Why would I make it up when I can find people like you to help me? So if someone's listening and they think, I wouldn't mind being involved in this in March, what do you want them to do?
So we have a Facebook page, so you can check that out. It's not fully full yet, but we're adding things as we go. But you can also come to ErinEarth or email me at ErinEarth. It's garden.manager@erinearth.org.au, or even give me a call, which is 0439 702 384, and I'm happy to have a chat to anyone who's got an idea or would like to be involved. As I said, we're still planning this, I guess. First day is pretty much set, but there's a lot of stuff to happen in the second day. So if you think you can help in any way, shape or form, I'd love as many people to get involved as possible, or just want to have a chat about it and ask me some questions or some advice. That'd be great.
More the merrier.
Yeah, I agree.